what's going on? I'm Darieth Chisolm and welcome to Hustle and Heart TV. Counter-espionage, intelligence gathering, spy technology, infidelity, and intrigue. All sounds so interesting, right? Well, what's equally interesting is the business of being a spy. Bob Kresson, my next guest, is a leading authority and a licensed private investigator who has tons of very interesting stories to share. But he's also very supportive in helping other entrepreneurs and small business owners through networking gatherings and social exchanges. Now, Bob is private with his own affairs, but he does open up on what it takes to run a successful spy and private investigation firm. And no matter what business you're in, this is one episode you're not going to want to miss. Bob Kresson on Hustle and Heart TV. You're watching Hustle and Heart TV, a video podcast show that spotlights expert advice from top money earners, successful entrepreneurs, superstar network marketers, and leading authorities in business and marketing. I'm Darieth Chisolm. I'm inviting you into my home and I'm bridging my own personal success as an entrepreneur, MLMer, news anchor, and now video podcast show host to help you leverage more tools and resources, make more money, and generate more ways to take action, become a rock star, and love your journey. Bob, thank you so much for being a part of Hustle and Heart TV. This is awesome to be in this incredible space with all of these toys and things that are going on. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about how you use them in your private investigation work. But I want to start today by just focusing on why you do what you do. 25 years as owner of Empire Investigations and the work that you do. Why? What is it about it that keeps you getting up every day and hustling for it?
It's the challenge of solving a puzzle, interacting with people of all different levels, and just embracing technology as it changes. I mean, it's so exciting. But it's actually been more like 35 years, but thank you for the compliment to 25. But no, I love every day. It's just, it's another challenge. Every phone call changes. We go from dressing up like this to wearing sweats, or we buy clothes at flea markets even to fit into certain surrounding areas based on where we're going and what we have to do. It's kind of like an acting studio here somewhat. We even do makeup and disguises over there in the corner, but again, it just depends. It's so challenging though and so much fun.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that because your work is very varied and you, as you say, could be all over the country. You could be in disguise. You've got plenty of toys and equipment to use. Give me an idea of some of the recent cases, perhaps, if you can, that you've been working on and just how varied that is.
Well, recent ones I can't talk about, but some of the things in my past. We've done a lot of high-end divorce work where individuals come into court and they claim they don't have money, and we literally were in a foreign country at the bank while the individual was opening up the bank account and got video of him doing that transaction. So 99% of the work we do is settled out of court. We usually go to mediation where the rules are a little different and we get it fast-tracked. So we save the people a lot of money. We get them the outcome they want after there's been a deposition. The other party lied on the deposition, so then we're brought in with our evidence to prove what we have, and video doesn't lie. So we get very good ID shots. We prove ID through various methods, and our information is brought in that way. And again, it's to circumvent the court system and just speed things up for our clients.
This is very James Bond-like and exciting. I love it.
It can be.
I mean, really, it can be. I mean, I'm sure scary, maybe. I mean, maybe, I guess that's not a term that you would necessarily use to define it, but as I think about it, it could be risky, perhaps is a better word.
It's only risky if you make a mistake, and after doing it all these years, it's all your prep work, who you set up around you, if you have a good team. And again, if you know what you're doing and you're playing, I call it a game. And if I called it work, I would have quit years ago. But again, it's just setting it up. And logistically, sometimes I can be up to 12 miles away shooting video. So who's going to catch me at 12 miles? And if I don't have a good cover story, then I'm not doing my job properly. And you're good with your eye. That is a telescope behind you that we shoot from 12 miles.
I just happened to notice that telescope back there.
That's just one of the optics that we would use, but we can shoot 12 miles in daylight, 2 miles in total darkness, and read a license plate at that distance. So again, it makes it child's play. Again, you just have to look outside the box, think outside the box, and be creative with it. And then we utilize a lot of different people with different looks. We have people down to 17 years old even, and sometimes will work for us as an extra. Another case we did was actually in the Florida area. It was in a gated community, and 3 other agencies tried to do it, but they all got caught. But they were doing it old school with the guy in the car, binoculars up on the dashboard. That's not the way to do it. What I did was went down and scouted the area. There was a beach right across from the gated community. Okay, big brainstorm here. Let's put a pretty girl on the beach in a bikini. No threat here, because all she's going to do is get hit on and maybe a sunburn, so we gave her plenty of sunscreen. We ran this job for 8 weeks, never got caught. When the target would leave, she would call us. We had one of our investigators a mile down the road, another one about a mile up the road, and then we would cross, based on which way the target was going, pick up our girl. She'd throw clothes on and tag along with us. But we're able to pull off the operation, not get caught, and get the results our client was looking for.
So you have to stage some of this in advance. Let's back up and talk about how you work on a particular case, and maybe even this one, if you can talk about it. And then, so someone contacts you, says, listen, this is our problem. We need some, work done. And then you began thinking about ways to find the solution for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I usually have them come in here. We speak either here at the building that I own, or I'm a member of the Rivers Club, which is Club Corps, that gets me in country clubs around the world. So we make private rooms. So I will not speak in public. I don't trust the person behind me, the waiter or the waitress, nothing against them. But again, our work is very sensitive, and it's a small world. You never know who knows who. And again, we don't even tell the police when we're working in there. We can't. The only person I trust is who writes me that check, and that's why I'm still in business after all these years. Because a lot of the work we do is very, very, very sensitive. So again, we just hear the problem out. Somebody else worked it. We look at it. We'll scope out the area. Google Maps and Google Street View is pretty good. We'll take a look at that. But then sometimes that can be off. You gotta make sure you double check it. And then what I like to do is go into the area, and if I can, like stand at someone's door or near it, or even pulling in a vehicle, or pulling we have vans with periscopes and things too, and we can just park there for literally 30 seconds and do a 360. So now I know in front of that house, in that direction, we might be able to be 2 miles away and get the shot. So if I can be 2 miles away, I sure as heck don't want to be sitting in the neighborhood. Or we automate a system. We can park a car, I rent a rack, and automate a system in it that we can monitor from a distance away or miles away. So we're watching via a vehicle instead of a body. Or again, if it's a body, what's the street, what's the surroundings? We even use people dressed as bag ladies on the street, and very convincing bag lady. So the bag lady on the street, or the kid on the skateboard, you think he's a hoodlum, and he's actually one of our operatives. So again, it's a great cover.
You really have to watch yourself these days. You never know who's looking.
Well, only if you're doing something wrong. So
Yeah.
if you're doing something right, we're going to help you get that raise you deserve.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. No, seriously, it's very interesting work, and I guess the amount of work that goes into it in advance is just as important as when you pull it off, because you want to make sure that it's planned out in detail. And as you said, which was very interesting, 35 years in the industry, and the only person you trust is the person who writes you the check. When you first started, however, did you think your business would be where it is today?
No, no.
How did it get here?
Working weekends, working holidays, taking the call at 4 o'clock on a Friday, no matter what my obligations were, and just going out and providing for the client. Now what I'm doing is recruiting younger staff. As you see what's here today with us, we still use some of the old timers. I've got gentlemen in their late 70s still working for us. And it's just a mix of all of it that makes the soup work. If you just have chicken stock, it's not a good soup. You got to add some spice, you got to add the noodles, add some vegetables. It's the same thing with the business. It's just working and reworking. But again, you have to embrace technology. I mean, oh my God, with social media and with what you're doing with podcasts, that's fascinating and exciting also. But again, staying in that mix, because when I started, it was by a full-page Yellow Page ad, talked to some seminars that were closed in the industry, ran around with G. Gordon Liddy when he got out for 10 years, and so that made my notoriety, and some national shows picked me up, which was weird because I went national before I came local to work for Channel 11 and the local stations. And again, it's just embracing the waves of life and just trying to keep your head above water all the time and get that surfboard out and ride the wave. Yeah,
do you hear that? I mean, that's really important. Embracing the waves of life. Have your surfboard. Sometimes you got to wear a life jacket, depending on just how tough it gets, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so with our show, you know, we spend a lot of time talking about, you know, businesses that have been around for some time and successful people and what it takes to doing that. And what would you say has perhaps been your biggest challenge in business?
Honestly, it's just staying on a true path. But again, it's just a path knowing that the business can succeed and never giving up. And I met Rudy Rudiger. Have you ever watched the movie Rudy? Mm-hmm. Okay. I spent 2 hours at a dinner. He was gracious enough to let me buy him dinner after he spoke at an event I was at. And you know, it took him 10 years to get that movie approved to be a movie. Mm-hmm. 10 years of negativity, 10 years of no's, 10 years of being turned down. I've never given anything that much time, you know, with negativity that much. Because again, we're lucky. We get customers, and if this one doesn't, if we don't think this one will gel for us, we have other opportunities all the time. Mm-hmm. But again, it's just sticking true to what is in your heart and what your passion is, and just stick it out. And again, embrace technology, the same thing. You know, keep your head above water, and just no matter how you feel, you got to go to work. And it doesn't matter if you're sick. There's no sick days. I mean, if you got an important client, you got to tough it out and do your thing. Yeah,
10 years, that's something else. And what a point to staying close to your heart.
Right,
and really believing in what it is that you do and how you do it. Right. Bob's got a lot of great information to share with us as it relates to building a business like Empire, but also you're very active in the community and supporting other businesses as well through something called the Pittsburgh Social Exchange. So we'll talk a little bit more about that when we come back. Are you interested in learning more about podcasting and video podcasting and how you can build your brand, influence, and income through podcasting? I'd be happy to help. In fact, you can schedule a complimentary discovery session with me. Really simple. Just go to podcastingandyou.com. Leave me your name and your email. You might want to check out one of my upcoming trainings as well, or simply send me an email at info@DariethChisolm.com, and we'll get some time scheduled to discover how podcasting can help you grow your business and your brand.
Hey, it's Tam Michelle with Tie the Knot Tuesday here at the Pittsburgh Marriott City Center, where we take care of all of your event and meeting needs brilliantly. So today we're going to talk about late night snacks. So after a long night of drinking, your guests need something in their belly before they go to bed or before they go home. Here at the Marriott, we have offered nacho bars, French fry bars, mini sliders, all the grease you need before going to bed. But some other amazing things: milk and cookies, donuts and coffee. No matter what your late night preference is, you handle the I-dos, we'll handle the to-dos. For your wedding and event needs, like us on Facebook at the Pittsburgh Marriott City Center and call us at 412-918-1373 and ask for me, Tam Michelle. Keep smiling.
This is not a hotel. It's an idea that travel should be brilliant. Because it's not only about where you're staying, it's about where you're going. The promise of spaces far beyond your imagination. We're here to advance the art of hosting so you can make the most of your journey. Pittsburgh Marriott City Center. Travel brilliantly.
Are you looking for a way to advertise your business, product, or service? Why not do it here on Hustle and Heart TV? We'd be happy to send you our media kit for show sponsorship and advertising. Reach out to us at info@DariethChisolm.com or give us a call at 412-692-1600 and we'll send you a media kit with all the information.
Hello, I'm Candy Castleberry Singleton, Chief Inclusion and Diversity Officer at UPMC and founder and chair of the Dignity and Respect Campaign. And you're watching Hustle and Heart TV.
So Bob, before the break, we talked about maybe your biggest challenge in business or maybe challenges that you've been facing or have faced. But let's talk about maybe some of the most rewarding work that you've done.
Oh, wow. I like solving the hardest equations or, you know, beating someone at their own game. One of the most rewarding cases I ever did was one of the first cases I've ever done when I started my agency in 1982. and we were tracking someone, and I think these people are actually dead by now, but it went public anyway. But this individual was supposedly locked down in Allegheny County per the attorneys that were working on the case, but I was working directly with the client, and it took me a while to track him down, but I actually got the guy in Sweden, and in 1982 he owed my client $3 million, so we were able to get it. It was a divorce case. But that to me was rewarding. I had to go into his mother's house and create a backstory, and she thought I was Swedish. Thank God, back in '82 I had blonde hair and a lot more hair too, and I was tan, but she thought I was Swedish and literally carried out the shoebox with the postcards with the return address on it. So I was able to copy the address down and keep the story going with her and find where he was and verify it. That was fun and rewarding. Some of the other ones are just bizarre. We caught an attorney cheating with a client once, and again, just the complexity of some of these are tough. Where, like with him, the wife, she had cancer, and it's just so sad. She was losing her hair, and he was cheating. And she put him through law school, and that to me was rewarding to be able to catch him. And he was very clever, and it just thinking outside the box. In my team, I mean, we used a redneck-looking guy that weighs 400 pounds with a red pickup truck. That was our main guy chasing this guy over 100 miles an hour down the streets. And just being able to capture that and, again, getting closure for the client, that was very rewarding to us. It's just the challenge of it. I mean, some of these things are bizarre. I mean, I've been in high-end hotels, we'll say that, and with 11 other people working for me just to capture, again, someone very intelligent within the hotel that was staying there as a guest, but again, being able to pull it off and orchestrate it. It's just, to me, very rewarding at the end of the day when you do what you do and you don't get caught and you get your result, and the pictures turn out and the video's clear and don't have your fingers in front of the lens or something.
Oh, we sometimes have these problems, so we understand.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But again, it's to me, it's fun, and
Yeah.
it's just a challenge of it all. It gets your heart pounding, and everybody gets passionate with this. It's either in your blood and you love it or you don't. So we, vet our people very quickly here, and you can tell by the look in their eyes even when they're doing the work, or if something kind of goes wrong, and I'm like, okay, well, how can you fix it? How can you make it up? And if they think and they can solve it, that's how they earn their jobs here and get into the system doing what we do.
What piece of advice would you offer to entrepreneurs, small business owners, people just getting their business started about leveraging and finding other ways to do what they do or do what they do best?
Well, there's two parts to that question, and the way you present it, in my mind, the answer anyway. One is to get mentors. I still have mentors, and I will always have mentors. And I'm back in an entrepreneurial program. I will never quit. I'll be there in a hover around showing up just to stay current more, because this social media craze has just drove me bananas. To me, it's like working harder to do the same thing, but I understand it now, so I'm leveraging it. But that's one facet of it. And the other facet is really just sticking to it and making sure you get good quality training, and again, look for someone in whatever field it is that you want to do. And if you can't do mentor-mentee, pay them. That's how I climbed my ladder in this field. That I literally, to get into countermeasures, which is looking for bugs and taps, it's called TSCM. I sought out the best company in the country, not only learned it, bought into the company, became his publicist, did reenactments with him, became his instructor, and I just seek the best and work deals to get cut in and do strategic alliances with people. Try to enhance other businesses. Don't get out there with the mentality, again, when I was 20, 30, it's like, I'm going to compete with this company. It's enhance them. Why compete? Get in, relationships with them and just help their business. It's a win-win for everybody. So I actually work for a lot of my competition in different states. I work for an agency that has 6 locations, which has been a godsend. They have locations in Ohio, DC, and we work several other states with them, but we do their technical work because I own a lot of equipment. It's just a sample what I own. This is a tiny sample. It's hard to insure a lot of these things because we have briefcases that go $50,000 to $75,000 just for a briefcase with electronics. So we scatter in different locations for insurance purposes. But I show up and I'm their technician, and no one knows other than the agency owner. They deal with the client, we do our thing, and we leave. I prefer that.
Yeah, you point out a few very important things. Obviously, you talked about having a mentor and or being a mentor to someone, because providing that level of value to someone else is important. Getting coaching, training, support, continuing to learn your craft, collaborating with others, even collaborating with your competition, which I think is brilliant, especially if you have a level of expertise that you can offer that they don't have, and then partnering that way, which makes sense. Networking is huge as well. And your affiliation with the Pittsburgh Social Exchange and all that it does to support the needs of entrepreneurs and up-and-coming business owners is just tremendous here in the Pittsburgh area.
Absolutely. No, the events are off the hook. I mean, they get numbers where I've never seen events like that. And just the quality of people, the VIPs that come in. We have millionaires and billionaires at all our events. And they literally get involved, and it's awesome to be able to meet them and integrate with them and the ideas that they bring and the opportunities they bring. It's just phenomenal.
And you've worked with developing a board there and really growing the exchange, correct?
Yes, what I did was form an inner circle, I called it, and I presented host golf outings for them. So this will be our 3rd year for the golf outings. It'll be a diamond run the first Monday in August. Again, that's our typical date. And it's very, it's working out very well for them.
Yeah, the concept of networking, especially these days, is so important. I think what's happened is because of social media, lots of businesses, mine included, we spend a lot of time online trying to figure out ways to drum up likes and tweets and support, and yet good old-fashioned shaking someone's hand, having a glass of wine, a cup of coffee, exchanging face-to-face, to some degree, almost feels like it's, like, well, what happened to that? I mean, that was the way that people did business. It's really important to continue that.
Absolutely, and it just builds a more lasting relationship instead of just a delete on the button or, I didn't like you wrote all capital letters. Were you yelling at me, Darieth, on social media? It's like, I don't know, I'd rather meet you in person, see that smile, shake your hand, and try to do some business. That's what we do, and that's what it's all about. We call it LinkedIn Live, too, where literally, though, I'm known to be the bridge, because I'll literally grab people by the back of their neck and say, I'm sorry to interrupt your conversation, you got to meet this person. And because we have 1 hour usually for these VIPs, and I'm noted to do like 50 people interchanges, at least at every event. I'm just dragging people to people. I'm like, you got to talk to this person, exchange cards, you guys got to meet and have lunch. Or I'll drag them down for our backdrops, with the VIP sponsors, get their photographs, and we kick them out through social media to, again, help them with some publicity and help kick their numbers up too in recognition in social media.
Yeah, it is so important, and we, as I said earlier, spend so much time, at least with our show, focusing in on ways to really help people understand the value of building a business, and each of our guests have all different great ideas around that, from hustling to loving what they do, but being consummate and concerned around building good relationships is important. As much as it is in terms of building the business. So we've got more to talk about, especially now what you've found, as you told me earlier prior to the interview, that now that you're on the back 9 of your life, things have changed and you're looking at ways to not only be more philanthropic, but to give value in a different way. So we'll talk about giving value in ways that you can explore the front 9 or the back 9 of your life with Bob when we come back. So what steps have you taken lately to take your business to a whole nother level? Or are you stuck or stalled? I'd love to hear from you. So send me an email at info@DariethChisolm.com, or you can like me on Facebook at Darieth Chisolm or on Twitter at Darieth Chisolm, and share your journey. Ask me a question, give me a topic or two, or a potential show guest. Looking forward to hearing from you.
Are you looking for a career that pays great money? Working with a fun group of people? I know, sounds too good to be true, right? Hi, I'm Troy Miles of the Miles Group.
We will train you, help you get your license, even supply leads. No cold calling.
I've been here 2 years and earned 6 figures this year.
I love my job.
I love the freedom and being my own boss.
If you would like to work among friends, have a great time, and make good money, call us.
Find out more at tmilesgroup.com.
Maybe your manuscript has been rejected for the 10th time. Maybe you're already published, but sales are almost non-existent. The defeated feeling is the same. It's time to get it done right. Rochelle Carter, the author of The 7-Step Guide to Entrepreneurship, has the answers that will turn your career around. Rochelle leads you through the powerful 7 steps, guiding you as you become a successful author and entrepreneur. Build your writing talents into a business, a platform that can sell you and everything you write, giving you what every writer wants, a continuing money flow. Rochelle Carter shares the tried and true, as well as the new, most effective, smart, and affordable steps to plan your publication and sell more books. To be a successful professional writer, the 7-Step Guide to Entrepreneurship is a must-read, a guide you will return to time and time again.
Hello, I'm Kathy Perry, your Real Food Coach, and I help people understand the power of real whole foods and how they can help you stay energized. And I'll see you on the next episode of Hustle and Heart TV with Darieth Chisolm.
We were just talking during the break about some fun stuff that you've been involved in, but as we kind of switch gears and talk about lifestyle and trying to balance your life with all of the busyness and things that are going on, how do you do that?
It's tough. That's a constant, ever-changing challenge, between personal life, children, personal life, dating, personal life, entertaining. I do a lot of entertaining. In fact, tonight we have a wine tasting I'll be attending, and a friend of mine's hosting it, and I have a table full of guests coming. But again, it's a constant challenge, and trying to stay in shape too. As you age, it's like you've got to work out, watch your diet, have doctors monitor me. They take my blood every 3 months, all that, to get that aspect in. But I also brought up about meditation. That's really helped me quite a bit, to where I practice meditation every day now for a half hour. I've got to do it. And honestly, it's like having 1 or 2 glasses of wine without drinking the wine. I'm not saying don't drink wine, drink in moderation, but it really has helped me quite a bit.
Yeah, and that is important, because when you are busy, if you don't find ways to just get you down, get you into balance, exercise, meditation, taking care of yourself so that you can take care of all of the other things that are going on in your life. And some people don't get to that point, and yet you've gotten there, and you know how important that is in terms of doing that. You also know just how important it is, as you pointed out, to be more philanthropic and to give value in a way that you perhaps hadn't in your earlier years. And you've still been able to meld that into your work by working on certain projects that are important but are just all about giving back.
Absolutely. So one of them is, I started to mention about the kayak trail. I own some property, very, very small property, just like 8 acres. So I own a tiny piece of a river, but up in Pymatuming, they are working on, it's a 26-mile kayaking trail, which is real nice and laid back. So I'm involved with corporate fundraising there. There's also Fire on Water. It's tied to the same group, where they have Fire on Water, and they bring in all different vendors in Sharon, Pennsylvania. So again, I'm trying to bring Pittsburgh people to Pymatuming to invest some corporate money to help them expand and grow, because there the businesses aren't quite as established as what some of the businesses are here. There's a handful that are large, but most of them are pretty small. Yeah. So again, that's part of it. I'm getting involved, I'm terming it America's Most Wanted, under the radar kind of thing, but what I term the other business I've started is Private Eyes for Your Private Lives, where you are the star. It's all about you, and it's not about me. It's, yeah, I built this business. I may come out for a minute or two, but I try to actually utilize other people to do the interviews as much as possible too. But what I'm trying to do is breathe life back into cases that are turning cold. One in particular was Amber Long, and she was murdered in January, about 16 months ago. And it's turning cold, and the media is not doing much with it. So that's a case that we're actively getting involved. We actually are releasing a press release today, and we're going after some national TV shows to hopefully give us some coverage on it.
So you're actually going back to those families and back to the PIs that are working on those cases to try and dig up more information to keep it alive.
It's not only digging up the information, but again, utilizing exactly what you're doing. Social media, because people will pass jokes, they'll pass around, here's the person going in the store looking like whatever. And that's all fun, but here's a family that needs closure. I mean, here's a family that lost their daughter in front of the mother. I mean, she was shot and killed right in front of the mother. And there's somebody out there that talked to somebody about this, and somebody knows, this guy was bragging in a bar probably or something. I just want to help this family get closure. And what I want to do is bring social media to the forefront to help investigators, even police departments, help the media. Why don't we help each other make this world a better place to live and just pass these stories around until these things are solved? That we need the public's help. We need your help. And we need your help also. I mean, this is, and thank you for letting me talk about it on your show. I really appreciate it. Because again, you never know what might connect, and all of a sudden you bridged and you solved, you know, this tragic event.
Yeah, well, great for you to be taking what you know in your heart and your passion, but also your work and your expertise and, you know, supporting others. You also work to support other spies or people that are you know, up and coming in the private investigation world, which is important because one day, you know, clearly you may decide to retire. Who knows if that's going to happen, but it may in fact. But the opportunity to give back to those who are thinking about starting their own private investigation, what would you give them in terms of tangible tools or first steps if in fact they're watching and are thinking about that?
I would tell them that, you know, contact us because a lot of the schools out there, unfortunately, it's good, you know, the educational process of it, but again, to do what we actually do, it's better to learn it hands-on, honestly. We do offer internships here which are unpaid because it shows me that you want to invest time, so then we kind of, it's a litmus test. Is this for you? Because again, we're not police officers. We're not out there pulling badges saying, hey, stop and do all this. You know, we're hiding in the bushes kind of thing. But again, if you're using the equipment properly, you don't really have to hide so much anymore. And we give people a shot at it if we feel there's a potential. You know, but again, it just depends on what aspect you get into this industry. But again, we work with investigators and people up and coming all around the United States, and you know, we do help other firms too. I do work for a number of other PIs. I'm active in several associations around the world where I'm the regional director for one group, so I'm networked in with other PIs where we come and do their technical work, and it helps us out very much. I love the trips too.
Yeah, that's great. Before we wrap this up, there's a couple things that I want to go back to that we talked about early on, and really taking it back to the beginning when you talked about the kind of work that you do. And we've spent a lot of time, you know, talking about just in terms of divorce and espionage and all of the exciting spy things. But you do obviously do work for corporate companies in terms of trying to find out about employees that might be misbehaving or doing what have you. So I do want to, you know, have you share a little bit more about that.
With the employees, a lot of times we're being called in for management issues, you know, whether it's a vice president or a president, are they competing, or are they selling trade secrets? The employees, we just dabble in that somewhat. We may put some hidden cameras into an area to determine if somebody's doing something they shouldn't be doing. And again, with our hidden cameras, you know, if you're doing your job, it's going to get you a raise. We're not violating your privacy. You know, we will not do audio in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, we have two-party consent, so if I don't have your consent, I'm not allowed to do audio. Different states, it varies state by state. So again, it varies by the company and what they're experiencing as to what we do.
What would have been your maybe funniest or most delightful disguise that you've ever done, or person that you had to become in order to be a spy and catch the bad guy?
I was a minister once. I went into a snow pile once and literally just put my fist through it. I dived into a snow embankment that was 4 or 5 feet high, and my body weight just carried me into the center. I used a fist and I put my lens in it and I hid to capture the video that I needed to capture. I mean, I did that. I've hid in ceilings for 3 days at a time. Back in the day before cameras were small. I mean, some of the cameras I even have in my showcases, you know, used to be real big.
Did you grow up wanting to do these things? I mean, as a kid, did you know you wanted to be a spy?
No, I wanted to work on cars, race cars, build motors, and do custom paint jobs. My dad forced me to college. He gave me 2 options, FBI or CIA, and the closer I was getting to that, I was freelancing for PI firms, and I really, really enjoyed it. I like the freedom. I like interacting with business owners. I like people of high intellect. And to me, it's solving the puzzle and the travel aspect of it that makes it so much fun for me.
Wow, that's great. But unfortunately, our time is coming to an end. But I want to squeeze 2 things out of you, and that would be 2 tips that you can offer to our audience around hustling and working hard for what you want, and then around heart, loving what you do, being passionate around whatever it is that you're looking to accomplish. Those 2 tips?
Okay, well, with hustling, I believe in guerrilla marketing. Just think outside the box and take care of people that give you leads and help bring you business, you know, because it's saving you advertising. So that's the hustle aspect. The heart aspect, it all depends on how you define heart. Heart to me would be working out first to make sure you're in shape, to keep your heart active, but then again, staying true to yourself would be the other aspect of heart. Do things that you're passionate and enjoy doing, so it's not work, it's actually fun. To me, it's fun. I mean, I can work 18 hours and not think twice. I don't look at the clock at all. It's all about accomplishing that goal.
Bob, thanks so much for opening up on so many interesting topics. Boy, you've got such a fantastic lifestyle. I love some of the stories you shared. Thanks for opening up about that. By the way, if you want more information about the Pittsburgh Social Exchange or some of the other websites that Bob mentioned, they're all available on the show notes page at hustle&hearttv.com. Just look for Bob Kresson. You can search for him and find that information. And if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way you'll get all of the episodes as we release them. If you're listening or watching on iTunes and or Stitcher Radio, I'd love for you to subscribe and rate and review this episode along with the others that are there waiting for you.
Bad things happen to good people. Accidents, serious injuries, or even death. When they do, families call Frank Walker Law, where we fight to get you the compensation you deserve. Hard-hitting representation when you need it the most. A real law firm getting real results.
Hey kid, let me tell you about the Soul Pit, and I want you to let everybody know about it. Soul Pit is what's happening in and around your city. Soul Pit is on the internet and around the globe. Soul Pit is on your block and in your car. Soul Pit is in your ear. It's in your hair. It's everywhere. Soul Pit is the latest news, hottest styles, culture, education, information, and more. It gets you ready for things to come. Hey kid, you know what the Soul Pit really is? It's a little something extra for your soul.